Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We've succeeded in making this shit work. I didn't buy a ring light and this stupid little lapel mic um, in a brand new fucking phone for nothing. So, yeah. Anyway, once again, let me know how you like the setup. But other than that, we're going to get right into chapter 30. 000 hours, August 29th, 2552, military calendar. Narrow band point-to-point transmission. Origin unknown. Termination, section 3. Omega Secure Antenna Array, UNSC HQ. Epsilon Eridani System, Reach Military Complex. PLNB Priority Transmission XX087R-XX. Encryption code Gamma. Public key not applicable. From codename coal miner to codename surgeon. Subject progress report operation hypodermic. Classification eyes only top secret section 3 X-ray directive / file extraction reconstitution complete. Start file. Secured space dock repair bay. Corvette circumference undergoing final stealth upgrades. Shipyard records successfully altered. Queries detected from transient AI. Operation deemed at risk of being uncovered. As per contingency plan Tango, ship registration numbers scrambled. Hard isolated from dockside computer network. Counter-intrusion software implemented. Alpha security protocols enacted on board. Just as you called it, sir. Don't worry as far as the station computers are concerned. Circumference never even existed. End file. Scramble destruction process enabled. Press enter to continue. Chapter 31. 0447 hours. August 30th, 2552. Military calendar. Remote sensing station Fermion. Epsilon Eridani Systems Edge. Chief Petty Officer McRobb entered the command center of Remote Sensing Station Fermion. Lieutenants J.G. Bill Streeter and David Breitling stood and saluted. He wordlessly returned their salutes. The wall-sized monitors displayed the contents of the last slipstream probes, multidimensional charts, a rainbow of false color enhancements, and a catalog of objects adrift in the alternate space. Some of the new officers thought the representations looked pretty. To Chief McRobb, however, each pixel on the screen represented danger. So many things could hide in multidimensional space. Pirates, black marketeers, the Covenant. McRobb inspected their duty stations. He double-checked that all programs and hardware were running within UNSC specifications. He ran his hand along the monitors and keypads looking for dust. Their stations were in tip-top shape. Considering what they were guarding, Reach, anything less than perfection was unacceptable. He made certain his crew knew it too. Carry on, he said. Since the Battle of Sigma Octanus, Fleetcom had reassigned top people to its remote sensing stations. Chief McRobb had been pulled from Fort York on the edge of the inner colonies. He had spent the last 3 months helping his crew brush up on their abstract and complex algebras to interpret the probe data. Ready to send out the next set of probes, sir, Lieutenant Streeter said. Linear accelerator and slipspace generators online and charged. Set for 30 seconds return cycle and launch, Chief McRobb ordered. Aye, sir. Probes away, sir. Accelerated and entering the slipstream. Fleetcom didn't really expect anything to attack the Reach military complex. It was the heart of the UNSC military operations. If anything did attack it, the battle would be a short one. There were 20 Supermac guns in orbit. They could accelerate a 3,000-ton projectile to 0.4 the speed of light, and place that projectile with pinpoint accuracy. If that wasn't enough to stop a Covenant fleet, there were anywhere from 100 to 150 ships in the system at any given time. Chief McRobb knew, though, there had been another military base that was once too strong to attack, and the military had paid the price for their lack of vigilance. He wasn't about to let Reach become another Pearl Harbor. Not on his watch. crazy to think about them thinking about Pearl Harbor for the Covenant. Probe's returning, sir, Lieutenant Breitling announced. Alpha re-entering normal space in 3, 2, 1. Scanning sectors. Signal acquired at extraction point minus 45,000 kilometers. Process the signals and send out the recovery drone, Lieutenant. Aye, sir. Getting the signal lock on. The lieutenant squinted at his monitor. Sir, would you take a look at this? On the board, Lieutenant. Radar and neutron imager silhouettes appeared on screen and filled the display. Chief McRobb had never seen anything like it in slipstream space. Confirm that the data stream is not corrupted, the Chief ordered. I'm estimating that object is 3,000 kilometers in diameter. Affirmative. 3,200 kilometer diameter confirmed, sir. Signal integrity is green. We'll have a trajectory for the planetoid as soon as Beta Probe returns. It was rare for any natural object this large to be in slipstream space. An occasional comet or asteroid had been logged. UNSC astrophysicists still weren't sure how the things got into the alternate dimension. But there had never been anything like this. At least not since... Oh my God, McRobb whispered. Not since Sigma Octanus. We're not waiting for Beta Probe, Chief McRobb barked. We're initiating the Cole Protocol. Lieutenant Streeter, purge the navigational database. And I mean right now. Lieutenant Breitling, remove the safety interlocks on the station's reactor. His junior officers hesitated for a moment. Then they understood the gravity of their situation. They moved quickly. Initiating viral data scavengers, Lieutenant Streeter called out, dumping main and cache memory. He turned in his seat, his face white. Sir, the science library is offline for repairs. It has every UNSC astrophysics journal in it, with navigation data on every star within 100 light years, the chief whispered, including Sol. Lieutenant, you get someone down there and destroy that data. I don't care if they have to hit it with a goddamn sledgehammer. Make sure that data is wiped. Aye, sir. Streeter turned to the comm and began issuing frantic orders. Safety interlocks red on the board, Lieutenant Breitling reported. His lips pressed into a single white line, concentrating. Beta probe returning, sir, in 4, 3, 2, 1. There. Off target, 120,000 kilometers. Signal is weak. The probe appears to be malfunctioning. Trying to scrub the signal now. It's too much of a coincidence that it's malfunctioning, Streeter, the chief said. Get FleetCom on Alpha Channel on the double. Compress and send the duty log. Aye, sir. Lieutenant Streeter's fingers fumbled with the keypad as he typed. Then he had to retype the command. Log sent. Beta probe signal on the board. Lieutenant Breitling reported. Calculating the object's trajectory. The planetoid was closer. Its edges, however, had abnormalities. Bumps and spikes and protrusions. Chief McRobb shifted and clenched his hands in a fist. It will pass through Epsilon Eridani system, Lieutenant, Breitling said, intersecting the solar plane in 17 seconds at the system's outer edge at 041. He inhaled sharply. Sir, that's only a light second away from us. Lieutenant Streeter stood and knocked over his chair, almost backing into the chief. McRobb righted the chair. Sit down, Lieutenant. We've got a job to do. Target the telescope array to monitor that region of space. Lieutenant Streeter turned and gazed into the rock-solid features of the chief. He took a deep breath. Yes, sir. He sat back down. Aye, sir. Moving the array. Gamma probe returning in 3, 2, 1. Lieutenant Breitling paused. There's no signal, sir. Scanning. Time plus 4 seconds and counting. Probe may have translated on a temporal axis. I don't think so, the chief murmured. Lieutenant Streeter said, Telescope array now on target, sir. On the main view screen. Pinpoints of green light appeared at the edge of Epsilon Eridani system. They collected and swarmed as if they were caught in a boiling liquid. Space stretched, smeared, and distorted. Half the stars in the region were blotted out. Radar contact, Lieutenant Breitling said. Contact with more than 300 large objects. His hands started to shake. Sir, silhouettes match known Covenant profiles. They're accelerating, Lieutenant Streeter whispered, on an intercept course for the station. FleetCom network connections are being infiltrated, Lieutenant Breitling said. His trembling hands could barely type in commands. Cutting our connection. Chief McRobb stood as straight as he could. What about the astrophysics data? Sir, they're still trying to end the diagnostic cycle, but that takes a few minutes. And we don't have a lot of options, McRobb muttered. He set his hand on Lieutenant Breitling's shoulder to steady the young officer. It's all right, Lieutenant. We've done the best we could. We've done our duty. There's nothing more to worry about. He set his palm print on the control station. The chief locked out the reactor safeties and saturated the fusion chamber with their deuterium reserve tanks. Chief McRobb said, "Just one last order to carry out." That was that man killing himself. How long is chapter 32? If it's short, we'll just read it. We'll do it. We'll do a little treat here. 30, 31, and 32. Chapter 32, 0519 hours. August 30th, 2552, military calendar. UNSC, Pillar of Autumn. Epsilon Eridani Systems Edge. Something was wrong. John felt it in his stomach at first. A slight lateral acceleration that became a spin strong enough that he had to brace his legs. The Pillar of Autumn was turning. Every other Spartan in storage bay felt it as well. They paused as they unloaded equipment from the crates and readied the cryotubes for their journey. The lateral motion slowed and stopped. The Pillar of Autumn's engines rumbled like thunder through the hull of the ship. Kelly approached him. "Sir, I thought we were accelerating to enter slip space." "So did I. Have Fred and Joshua continue to prep the tubes. Have Linda get a team and secure our gear. I'll find out what's going on." "Aye, sir." The Master Chief marched towards the intercom panel. He hated being on spaceships. The lack of control was disturbing. He and the other Spartans were just extra cargo in a space battle. He hesitated as he reached for the intercom. If Captain Keyes was involved in some tricky maneuver or engaging an enemy, the last thing he needed was an interruption. He pressed the button. "Cortana, we've changed course. Is there a problem?" Instead of her voice, however, Captain Keyes spoke over the channel. "Captain Keyes to Spartan 117, he replied. "Here, sir." "There's been a change in plans," Keyes said. There was a long pause. "This will be easier to explain face to face. I'm on my way down to brief you. Keyes out." John turned, and the other Spartans snapped to their tasks. Those without specific orders checked and rechecked their weapons and assembled their combat gear. They had all heard the captain, however. The sound receivers in their armor could pick up a whisper at 100 meters, and the Spartans didn't have to be told this was trouble. John clicked on the monitor near the intercom. The four-camera showed the Pillar of Autumn had indeed turned about. Reach's sun blazed in the center of the screen. They were heading back. Was something wrong with the ship? No. Captain Keyes wouldn't be coming to brief him if that was the case. There was definitely a snag. The elevator doors opened and Captain Keyes stepped off the lift. "Captain on the deck," the Master Chief shouted. Spartans stood at attention. "At ease," Captain Keyes said. The expressions on the captain's face suggested that ease was the last thing on his mind. He smoothed his thumb over the antique pipe the Master Chief had seen him carry. "There is something very wrong," Keyes said. He glanced at the other Spartans. "Let's talk in private," he told the Master Chief in a low voice. He walked to the monitor over the intercom. "Sir," the Master Chief said, "unless you wish to leave the deck, the Spartans will hear everything we say." Keyes looked at the Spartans and frowned. "I see. Very well. Your squad might as well hear this now, too. I don't know how they found Reach. They bypassed a dozen intercolony worlds to get here. It doesn't matter. They are here. And we have to do something. Sir? They? The Covenant." He turned to the intercom. "Cortana, display the last priority alpha transmission." A communique flickered on screen, and the Master Chief read, "United Nations Space Command Alpha Priority. Transmission 04592Z-83. Encryption code red. Public key file Bravo Tango Beta 5. From Admiral Roland Fremont, Command Fleet Officer, Fleet Comm Sector 1 Commander, UNSC Service Number 00745-16778-HS. 2. All UNSC warships in Epsilon Eridani system. Subject, immediate recall. Classification, classified. BGX directive, start file. Covenant presence detected on Reach Systems Edge, coordinates 030 relative. All UNSC warships are hereby ordered to cease all activities and regroup at Rally Point Zulu at best speed. All ships are to enact the Cole Protocol immediately. End file. Cortana has picked up ship signatures on the Pillar of Autumn sensors, Captain Keyes said. She cannot be sure how many because of electrical interference, but there are more than 100 alien ships inbound toward Reach. We have to go. We have our orders. Section 3 mission has to be scrubbed. Sir, scrubbed? John had never had a mission canceled. Reach is our strategic headquarters and our biggest shipbuilding facility, Master Chief. If the shipyards fall, then Dr. Halsey's prediction of humanity having only months to survive will shrink to weeks. The Master Chief normally would never have contradicted a superior officer, but this time the duty compelled him. Sir, our two missions are not mutually exclusive. Captain Keyes lit his pipe, in defiance of 3 separate regulations of igniting a combustible on a UNSC ship. He puffed once and thoughtfully examined the smoke. What do you have in mind, Master Chief? 100 alien vessels, sir. Between the combination force of the fleet and Reach's orbital gun platforms, it is almost guaranteed there will be a disabled ship my squad can board and capture. Captain Keyes mulled this over. There will also be hundreds of ships exchanging fire with one another. Missiles, nukes, Covenant plasma torpedoes. Just get us close enough, the Master Chief said. Punch a hole in their shields long enough for us to get on their hull. We'll do the rest. Captain Keyes chewed on his pipe. He tucked it in the cup of his hand. There are operational complications with your plan. Cortana has been running the Pillar of Autumn's shakedown. We have our own AI, but by the time we get it initialized and running their ship, the battle may be over. I see, sir. Captain Keyes gazed a moment at the Master Chief, then sighed. If there is a disabled Covenant ship, and if we are close enough to it, and we're not blown to a million bits by the time we get there, then I'll transfer Cortana to you. I've flown ships without an AI before. Captain Keyes managed a weak smile, but it quickly disappeared. Yes, sir. We'll be at Riley Point Zulu in 20 minutes, Master Chief. Have your team ready by then. For anything. Sir, he saluted. Captain Keyes returned the salute and entered the elevator, puffing on his pipe and shaking his head. The Master Chief turned to his teammates. They halted what they were doing. You all heard. This is it. Fred and James, I want you to refit one of our Pelicans. Get every scrap of C-12 and shape a charge on her nose. If Captain Keyes downs a Covenant shield, we may have to blast our way into the ship's hull. Fred and James replied, Aye, sir. Linda assembled a team and get into every crate Oni packed for us. Distribute the gear ASAP. Make sure everyone gets a thruster pack, plenty of ammo, grenades, and jackhammer launchers if we have them. If we do get on board, we may encounter those armored Covenant types again. This time, I want the firepower to take them out. Yes, sir. The Spartans scrambled to make ready for their mission. The Master Chief approached Kelly. On a private comm channel, he told her, Crate 13 on the manifest has 3 Havoc nuclear mines. Get them. I have the arming cards. Ready them for transport. Affirmative. She paused. The Master Chief couldn't see her face past the reflective shield of her helmet, but he knew her well enough to know that the tiny slump of her shoulders meant that she was worried. Sir, she said, I know this mission will be tough, but do you ever get the feeling that this is like one of Chief Mendez's missions? Like there's a trick? Some twist that we've overlooked? Yes, he replied, and I'm waiting for it. Chapter 33. Wow. It's getting exciting. It's almost over. It really took a long time for all of this action to start, but I guess it is the fall of Reach. I assume Halo the Flood is going to be a lot more action-packed. And I've read Contact Harvest before, so I know exactly what that entails. Johnson sex scene. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.